What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I wanna talk about this some more, go into more into depth into this Puff Daddy situation. Um, and specifically, I want to speak about like how the feds are making sure that Puff Daddy will never see the streets again, right? And because like everything that we see uh in the news, most of what we see in the news is coming from like the federal government side of the situation. Like Puff Daddy's lawyer just really started making like public statements. I think Puff Daddy made a public statement. He made one public statement right after that video of him kicking and knocking down abusing Cassie. He made a statement then. But for the most part, all the information and everything that we have gotten has coming from like the federal government. And so, and that's by design, right? The federal government want to make sure that Puff Daddy never sees, like he never see the streets again. And it all started with, like I said, with that case, like that case against him that he lost, that Puff Daddy lost to Cassie. That keeps getting brought up in the news. Then that raid that they did on Puff Daddy's two properties, like the property that he had in California and the property that he had in Florida. That didn't help. All this goes towards like shaping a public image of him that's not very good, right? That's not positive at all. And so that on top of, then you get to the point where he's arrested, and he's denied bail. And so once they deny him bail, that affects the way that Puffy can he can fight his case, right? Because if you're in prison, it's harder to fight your case because you can't really participate in your defense. You only have visitation, like it's limited. You might get like maybe 2 or 3 hours for visitation, and in a case like this, it's going to take hours upon hours for your lawyers and you, for Puff Daddy, to fight this case. You can't have like limited time, like 2 hours to fight, or to get your case together. In cases like this, it's very important that the defendant is a big part of fighting this case, because like your Puff Daddy is the one with his whole life and his legacy online. So he definitely want to be able to have his input, and really just have some say so in how everything goes as far as his case. So when Puff Daddy and his lawyers offered up that $50 million for their towards their bond, he also surrendered his passports just to show the judge that he's not a flight risk. And that right there, like, that's unprecedented for somebody to offer up $50 million for their bail. Usually people wait until like to see like what the prosecutor recommends, and then they wait to see what the judge says also about how much he's going to recommend, the amount and the stipulations for their bail. But I thought that probably, in my opinion, I don't think that was a good move for Puff Daddy and his lawyers to kind of to make that offer before they saw like what the prosecutor was talking about, and it made Puff Daddy look more desperate. You know what I mean? Like I know they probably thought it made it look like they was going to, like they was trying to cooperate, but it made them look more desperate. And then it gave even more leverage to the prosecutor and the judge. The judge, even though Puff Daddy gave up his passport, they still consider him a flight risk because, you know, Puff Daddy has connections to people. And then on top of that, there were actually rumors that Puff Daddy was, you know, he was thinking about, you know, like making a run for it. So with all this being said, you know, everything is just lining up to the fact that the federal government is just trying to make it so Puff Daddy never see the light of day. Like once they arrested him and denied him bail, you know, like they knew. And see, the thing about the federal government, when the federal government come in, they know, everybody knows that the federal government don't come in half cocked. Like they have all the evidence and everything they need to prosecute you. The federal government have like a 97% conviction rate. And so, you know, with that being said, he was fighting an uphill battle from the start. And I don't think, because of the way that the federal government is you know, has handled this case from the jump, you know, that really, I don't think it's not looking like Puff Daddy will ever see the streets again. Just like I said, like they had all their ducks in a row, you know, the federal government did. And so they're doing things methodically just to make sure, number one, they wanted to make sure that he didn't flee. They wanted to make sure that that he didn't make bail. And now what they're doing is they're letting, like, the tapes, like I said, it was a tape of Puffy assaulting Cassie. Tapes now are coming out with him, like, you know, they show pictures of like 1,000 bottles of baby oil. So they're trying him, you know, they're shaping a narrative in the public before he even get the trial. So people, you know, everybody's watching everything that's being said on TV, everything that the federal government is allowing to be, you know, to put out there. And so all of these images and everything that's coming out about Puff Daddy with, you know, the like I said, with the tape, the oil and everything, is, you know, that like they everything they do is almost like another nail in the coffin. And so it's going to be so hard for him to really to beat this case, because like I said, they've been coming at him and they've been building their case, and they're going step by step for what they want to, you know, what they're trying to accomplish, you know, as far as this case and get a conviction. And so, you know, I don't see any way how, you know, Puff Daddy will ever hit the streets again, or at least it'll be hard for him to ever, you know, him to beat this case. And yeah, a lot of people thought that Puff Daddy was going to flee and go to Bali, you know, with you know, and do the same thing like what Russell Simmons did. And you know, but once the federal government got on him, as far as like with that Cassie situation, like right then and there, he should have seen like the you know, he should have seen the writing on the wall, and that would have been a good time for him to like sell all of his businesses, you know, sell all of his businesses and get his cash, and go to, you know, and go be in Bali, just like I said, Russell Simmons, he saw, you know, the writing on the wall, and thought that maybe some things might be coming down the line, as far as, you know, he heard all the accusations, so he rolled out. And I think like Puff Daddy, you know, it would have been a much easier route for him to just to go ahead and you know, to do the same thing. A lot of people thought he was going to do the same thing as Russell Simmons, but once like I said, once everything got out there in the public, as far as that situation with Cassie, I thought, you know, and a lot of people thought that should have been his cue for him to you know, to go to Bali, you know, sell his businesses, because everybody knew that like it was only going to be downhill after that. Once he settled with Cassie for like $30 million, you know, that it was a wrap, you know. And I think maybe the federal government may have and probably was, like I said, and I'm sure that they were on him even before then. And if he could have found a way to, to travel or get out of the country, then that would have been an excellent opportunity. Not that I encourage that kind of thing, but I just think that, like, his legacy is going to be ruined. He's going to be broken financially. And then, you want to think about, he have sons and daughters that he want to be able to, even if he's not around, he want to be able to provide for. And all of that, because of what's happening with this case, this case is going to be, it's going to be so expensive for him to defend himself. And, like right now, his assets, as far as like, his accounts and stuff are frozen, and, at least temporarily, so yeah, that would have been the perfect opportunity and probably would have been his best move, instead of trying to fight against the government, who is 97%, at least around 90% success rate, so he's definitely going to, he got an uphill battle against him. So, but that's my take on it. Let me know what you think. Make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video.